My matches are for every hungry child out there, fresh off her dominant sweep of Alina Shaiva this past January 26th. 2026 unmasked an $87,000 secret, proving Eala is the ultimate class act. Welcome to Court Eva Tennis, the premier source for the gridiron grit, the locker room whispers, and the most electrifying, jaw-dropping tales that corporate sports networks are too scared to cover. These are the shockers that'll leave you breathless. So settle in and grab some tissues, because this next chapter hits like a freight train in the best way. In a pro tennis circuit drowning in smashed rackets, courtside meltdowns, and toxic rivalries, where $100 million contracts and bitter umpire feuds dominate the news cycle, and untouchable icons live in high society bubbles totally disconnected from the struggles of the real world. It is nearly impossible to find a narrative this raw, cutting through the plastic glamour to punch you right in the gut with a dose of pure, unadulterated humanity that feels like a movie. Tonight we spotlight Alexandra, the pride of the Philippines, and the phenom who paralyzed the global tennis establishment. You know her, you've seen that lethal forehand, an absolute missile that explodes off her strings like a cannon blast. She's already legendary, the first Filipino to ever conquer a junior Grand Slam singles draw. You've watched her weep while clutching her flag, the weight of an entire nation on her young shoulders. But this isn't about stats or trophies. This is about what happens when the stadium goes dark and the hype fades. It's about her hidden core, the person she becomes when the world isn't looking. In those quiet, unseen acts, a champion's true spirit is forged, and what we found will reshape your entire perspective of her forever. To grasp the gravity of this, we have to rewind to where the struggle truly began. You cannot respect the height of her mountain without seeing the depth of the valley she crawled out of, long before the Mallorca elite or the multi-million-dollar deals and magazine covers. She was just a kid with a burning ambition that threatened to consume every resource her family possessed. In the brutal world of pro tennis, chasing excellence carries a staggering financial cost that breaks most people. This isn't just kicking a ball around. Tennis is a relentless, viciously expensive money pit. Hourly court fees skyrocket while world-class coaching costs more than most monthly grocery budgets. Then add global flights, hotels, and a never-ending cycle of expensive rackets and worn-out shoes. Building a pro from scratch is a financial beast that devours families who aren't born into wealth. The Eala family gambled everything, every cent and every ounce of sweat on her generational talent. But they eventually hit a wall where the math simply stopped working and things turned dark. The dream felt less like a goal and more like a cliff's edge, ready to break them. Yet at their lowest point, when the light was fading, a miracle occurred for the Eala family. A modest, unassuming tennis academy reached out, no strings, no corporate red tape, just pure support. Forget government grants or 3-year waiting lists. This was a grassroots sanctuary that chose to act. These mentors saw the fire in a young girl's eyes and refused to let it die. Recognizing her electric potential, they threw open their doors and provided a desperate lifeline. They offered court time and mentorship just as the family's funds were drying up completely. No cameras, no PR stunts, just a belief that letting her talent vanish would be a tragedy. They knew that abandoning her at that moment would be a betrayal of the sport itself. Years of brutal grinds, coach class flights, and missed childhood milestones followed that gesture. Through the soul-crushing defeats and injuries that make most athletes quit, she persisted, navigating the grueling gap between a child's hope and the harsh reality of the pro tour. Now here's the twist that will leave you absolutely speechless at this point in her career. With the world at her feet and riches pouring in, Alex did the unthinkable. She looked back. She returned to her humble beginnings without a single camera crew or promotional social media tweet. She walked back into that small academy that saved her, but she wasn't empty-handed. Eala delivered an $87,000 donation, a life-changing fortune, for that local community club. Fresh off her dominant win over Alina Shah on January 26, 2026, this isn't some vanity check for a trophy wall. We're talking resurfaced courts, fresh nets, lights for night grinds, and top-tier gear for the kids. It's a complete overhaul of a championship factory, providing life-changing scholarships for the next generation of hungry athletes. Kids who are exactly where Alexandra once was, staring through a fence, wondering if their dreams were out of reach. $87,000 looks a struggling family in the eye and says, "Your kid belongs here, we've got you." That is a statement. But even more powerful than that $87,000 gift was the heart behind it. The real magic was in the message. Alexandra Eala didn't send a polished PR release about giving back. She didn't use corporate buzzwords. She wrote something raw, hauntingly simple, and straight from the gut. Just 10 words: "They were there for my family when we had nothing." Read that again. Those 10 words hold a universe of grit memory and pure, unadulterated grace. She didn't just thank them, she bared her soul, admitting her legendary journey almost never started. She honored the ones who stayed down through the struggle, not the big logos, but the people who mattered. Fame found her, but she never lost her way back to this modest, quiet academy. In today's hyper-connected sports world, a story this real was bound to break out. The truth leaked through raw emotion, not a marketing campaign. Coaches there were reportedly reduced to tears. These veterans who spent lives in the grind stood in total shock as one of their own showed such gratitude. The kids felt it too. They walked taller and practiced harder, seeing that their hero never forgot where she started. She proved that loyalty and roots are everything. When the story hit social media, the internet absolutely erupted. It was an emotional tidal wave. A tennis world usually obsessed with rankings was suddenly united by pure humanity. This story of humility cut through the noise. Cold stats were replaced by an outpouring of genuine warmth. Filipino fans led a surge of national pride that went way beyond sports, but the whole world followed. Tennis fans everywhere, many who barely knew her name, started defending her character and claiming her as a favorite. Not for her serve, but for her soul. Toxic message boards transformed into spaces of sincere respect. This is a good person. In a world short on goodness, that sentiment hit like a ton of bricks. Even rival athletes, usually skeptical of charity stunts, knew this was the real deal. This moment pulled back the curtain on the woman Eala has become. It shows a maturity and emotional depth that is incredibly rare for a 20-something star on the rise. This is the point where most stars get blinded by the wealth, the brand, and the ego. The whole industry is built to feed that self-centered fire because drama and spectacle sell tickets. Yet Alexandra chose a different path. Instead of amplifying her own hype, she looked back. She gave a fortune to a small academy, wrote from the heart, and stepped out of the light. She spoke of what others did for her family when things were dark, then quietly moved on. She did the right thing because it was right, not for the clout. That's more than admirable. That's rare. That kind of character can't be coached or faked. You either have it or you don't. For those coaches who grind in the shadows, her visit was the ultimate highlight of their careers. Not the trophies, but the day a superstar came home and said thank you in the most generous way. For the kids watching her walk those halls, it was a spark of pure possibility. She's the living proof that greatness can be born right where they are standing. The same courts, the same struggles, and the same humble start can lead to the top of the world. She beat the odds and the financial pressure, then reached back to pull others up. You can't put a price on the hope she gave those children. To see someone from your neighborhood reach the summit and stay humble is the ultimate inspiration. At its core, this $87,000 story is about one thing: loyalty. A deep, unshakable loyalty that fame and fortune couldn't touch. It's the spirit that looks across the distance of her success and says, I haven't forgotten. I remember, you matter. In the cutthroat world of pro sports, that kind of loyalty is a unicorn. For Alex, it's not a PR stunt, it's her soul. The tennis world is about to witness a decade-long reign of absolute greatness. If the girl beneath that ice-cold composure is who she claims to be, then we aren't just watching a champion rise, we're watching the birth of a legend. She's outgrowing the court, standing for something far bigger than rankings or silver trophies. She speaks to the kind of heart that resonates long after the final set ends. Eala, once a kid from the Philippines with a dream too big for her zip code, carried by her community when she couldn't walk alone. Now she's taking over the global stage through pure grit and heart. She's the living proof that success is nothing without gratitude. Through blood and sweat, she's redefined what it means to win. And trust me, it's about way more than tennis. Alex isn't just a beast on the court, she's an inspiration off of it. Her humility next level. Her gratitude is unshakable. She's turned the Philippines into a powerhouse of pride and pure inspiration. Her story proves the real win isn't the score, it's the impact you leave on the world. Now I want to hear from you. This is a story that needs to be felt. Did that act of kindness shake you? Do those 10 simple words still echo in your head? How far can she take this? Can she crack the top 50 this year? One thing is for sure. We aren't just watching an athlete, we're watching a legacy being written in real time. Your turn, hit the comments. Who stood by you when the chips were down? How did you say thank you? Drop your predictions and your stories below. This conversation matters and every voice counts. I'm diving into every single comment. I can't wait to hear what this community thinks about this powerful journey. If this hit home, smash that like button. It's a small move, but it makes a massive difference. Not part of the Corteva squad yet? Subscribe. This is where we find the human soul behind the athlete. This is where the game stops being just a sport and starts being about character and generosity. Ring that bell. You don't want to miss the next deep dive into stories that inspire. Until next time, keep your strings tight, your hearts open, and never forget those who held you up. Win for the Hungary, following her dominant victory over Alina Sharaeva on January 26, 2026.